Okay, here we go. Let's place our first team. Sandman coming in.
When Rhett and Link first came to me, they said, we've got this idea for a Spot the Differences style video in which it tells a story of 4 different rooms and all the things that could happen inside each of those rooms during the night. Is that something that you think you would be interested in doing? And I said, absolutely.
As you can see behind us, we've got this dollhouse that we're getting set up. The whole thing takes place inside of this beautiful set piece that we've got here, but the challenge is getting it from set onto something we actually manipulate in post. And so what we're doing is we're setting up this dollhouse to be shot with our cameras at very high resolution. And what I'm going to go do is go into the dollhouse and recreate the angles and the perspectives in 3D, so that then afterwards I can take the camera, our 3D camera, and go in between each room as if we were shooting it with a real camera, then replacing each different room in the dollhouse with what we shoot on set.
Each different piece of the dollhouse was put together in 3D space inside of a program called Nuke. In order to recreate the dimension of the hallway, I needed to separate out each individual layer from the photos that we took. This would create parallax, or the illusion that some objects are close to the camera and some objects are farther away. The geometry was roughly modeled out in a program called Blender. This allowed me to get the rough shape of the house, the roof, the hallway, the stairs, all of those things as they would look in 3D space, and then use a technique called camera projection to place the picture that we took of the dollhouse onto the geometry of the dollhouse. But there was a main challenge that required a lot of thought for this video, and that was that there were 2 different versions, the version A and version B, that people would then try and compare and see if they could spot the differences. But that meant that there had to be a workflow for both the A version and the B version to be able to be plugged in. This meant that I had to take the rendered A version and the rendered B version and link them together so that we could pan and scan back and forth depending on what we wanted the viewer to see. Lastly, there's a little bit of After Effects that was put in for the Sandman's dust effect and their beam in effect. Those were put inside of the new composition and rendered out in the final version. In 2 weeks, the entire post-production elements of this video was completed, with over 260 gigabytes of image files and more than 24 hours in rendering. It was an honor working for Rhett and Link, and I will be working with them on more projects in the future. Until then, check out studio-229.com to see what else we're up to, and to hire us for any projects that you might need.